This is the Blood and Black Rum Podcast.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Blood and Black Rum Podcast. I'm Ryan from Blaxploitation.com, and I'm joined with my co-host Martin.
How's it going?
We're doing well. Doing well here. We are returning. Normally we take a week off. We don't normally do weekly episodes anymore. We're a little too old for that now.
Well, one of us is too old.
Well,
That's me.
If you've caught our new cover image, we're in year 7 now.
Well,
so,
you didn't update. No, wait, I lied because it just changed over. That was awesome.
Yeah. No, it's updated everywhere. Should be.
No, it was just awesome though because I always keep up the Podbay site just so I can have a reference to our episodes, and it went from year 6 and then ting, year 7 popped. Wow, that was awesome. It was like a magic trick.
Yeah, no, it should update everywhere once I update the Anchor file, and if it didn't, then you'd probably just you have a cached browser or something like that.
So which Bronson film is that referencing?
That's from Death Wish.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah. I could have picked like a much more.
No, that's good. I like it.
Yeah, I could have gone a lot deeper, but I didn't. But I thought it would be good because for the past couple of years we've had horror movies, and generally what I've done for just for funsies is use the Japanese poster artwork for some horror movies as our cover photo.
They'll never know.
Like year 6 was the Funhouse, but you kind of couldn't really tell that unless you really knew from looking at it that it was from the Funhouse, and then that it was from a Japanese version of the cover art. So this year I thought, you know what, instead of doing horror movies, because we are really a film podcast that expands past horror, I change it up a little bit. And because we're doing Murphy's Law in today's episode with Charles Bronson, thought it would be only fitting to update it to a Charles Bronson cover image. So there you go.
We need crust punk playing in the background.
Mm-hmm. That's where a year 7 photo came from. So, and I think we used the years. Like I kind of randomly just change up the cover image. Like we've already been into year 7, honestly, because I think we started in August or July.
Yeah,
and I can't even remember exactly.
It was August.
Yeah, it was August. Can't even remember exactly what year it was.
I lied. No, it was July. July.
Yeah, it was July.
God
yeah.
damn it.
Thought so. I can't remember what year it was, but I think we're somewhere in between year 7 and year 8. So.
Yeah, no, we're halfway home.
That's what I thought. Yeah, we're kind of in the midway period, but that's okay. We never really have gone based on the actual anniversary.
We're not chronologists here.
That's right. But this
is why I keep the Podbay link up.
That's right. So you can be the historian for it.
So when you recite, I'm slightly the fact checker.
Yeah.
Fact checker. Holy crap.
But this episode we've got we're doing Murphy's Law, which is one that I've never seen before. It's a Charles Bronson movie that doesn't really come up that often. I've never really heard it mentioned in passing. Have you seen the Charles Bronson movie Murphy's Law? No one has ever really said that to me.
Well, our friend in high school, Brandon Brown, used to joke about Murphy's Law.
Oh yeah,
I don't think he ever saw it. I think he just thought it was funny. And
yeah,
me and him, we used to talk about the Death Wish films and Bronson's career after his apex.
Yeah, so Bronson had done a lot of movies during the 80s period, and he did a lot of movies with around the same time as Death Wish, all the way up through the 5 sequels, or the 5 movies in the Death Wish franchise. And he did a lot of action movies for Canon Films. And Canon at that time was just pumping them. They were just literally going to production, and for any type of idea that they had for action movies, those were going into production. And Bronson, at this time frame, which I believe was 1986 when Murphy's Law released, somewhere around there, he would have been in the midst of the canon craze. And actually, the director of Murphy's Law, J. Lee Thompson. He would go on to do like 4 or 5 Charles Bronson movies, like back to back to back. So he, was obviously attuned to Cannon's action film craze, and Bronson was kind of locked. I don't know if he was like locked into a contract with Cannon where they were like, you're going to do, 4 movies. Cause that was a thing that they used to do back in the 80s and 90s, where they would say, all right, we've got this guy, he's locked into a contract. We're going to ask him to do 5 movies with us, over the course of, 5 or 6 years or something like that. They used to do contracts like that. And I don't know if Bronson's was like that, but I do know that he did a lot of movies with J. Lee Thompson at the same time. And this was right in between all of the Death Wishes, because directly after Murphy's Law, we would get Death Wish 4, which was also directed by J. Lee Thompson. So it was a prolific time period for Bronson, Cannon Films, and the director of Murphy's Law, J. Lee Thompson. But the thing is, no one really talks about Murphy's Law. And that's probably for good reason. We'll talk about that as we get more into the episode. And at the same time, Death Wish 4 is not really one of those movies that people come back to again and again. And they're like, you know what? Which movie out of the Death Wish series do you want to watch? Make it Death Wish 4.
I don't know. It's probably the 3rd best one.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably better than 3.
No.
You don't think it's better than 3?
No, 3 is over the top greatness.
That's true. It's definitely better than 5.
5 was bad. 2 was god awful. 2's the worst of the bunch.
Yeah.
So, plus 4's the one with Danny Trejo.
That's true too. Yeah.
And the soccer ball.
Yeah. It is hard to remember them. We did them so long ago, but
the only one that really sticks in my mind is 1 and 3.
Yeah.
And the only thing about 2 that, nowadays sticks in my mind, like, oh yeah, Jimmy Page did the fucking intro.
3's the one where Bronson's running around with a rocket launcher, right?
Yeah, where they go just full blown, canon films.
I can't particularly remember them now, like it specifically, but yeah. Yeah, I mean, but so like this was like prime time for Bronson. But Murphy's Law didn't really get a lot of, like a lot of publicity. It's interestingly enough too, it does have a lot of like 80s, representation, right? Has Kathleen Wilhoite in it, who was also
bless you,
Kathleen Wilhoite, who was also co-star in nothing other than Roadhouse, which we were supposed to do for an episode. Co-starring with Patrick Swayze. So
the Lost episode from Wet Hot 80s Action Summer.
That's right, yeah. Drawing it back to that. But yeah, so like, Murphy's Law has a lot going for it. But as we'll talk about, there are definitely things in the movie that do smack of, hey, this is basically like a copy-paste job from Cannon for a crime drama from the 80s with action elements starring Charles Bronson. And, that's pretty much the extent of Murphy's Law.
It's basically, let's take Death Wish and make Death Wish.
Well, I do like to think about the producers and the writers sitting around in the office and they're like, I had a really good idea. Oh, yeah? Yeah, Brian, what's that? Well, that saying about Murphy's Law? Yeah, something about, like, things going wrong and, they're going to get worse or something. Yeah, you're pretty much onto that. What if the guy's name in this movie was Murphy?
And he's a cop. Well, I didn't know Murphy's Law was like that old of an idiom, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
However, I will say one thing before we get too nitty gritty into the weeds, just think about a little over 10 years before this, Bronson starring in Death Wish, a vigilante film about how the system is failing us. We citizens need to take back our life, right? Fight against crime, fight against the drug dealers, the rapists, etc.
Yep.
Here, and we get the Reaganification of this. Like, whoa. We can't have you just going willy-nilly, like, killing people. But if you're a cop...
yeah. Then you've got some...
I blame Ronald Reagan and 1980s B-movie film culture for, instituting the idea. Because that's probably why, like, people today are like, the guy robbed a granola bar? Yeah, he deserved to get shot.
Yeah.
Because they see, Bronson and Chuck Norris and all these guys running around, Mel Gibson running around and just, taking the law into their own hands. And they're like, yeah, fucker deserved it,
Yeah,
don't you think that, like, you can kind of trace, like, that kind of, like, you can kind of trace that back, like, to, like, 1980s film culture. Because, again, in the 70s, it's like how the system has failed us, and we need to, take a hold of everything, because, you had Watergate and Vietnam and all that crap, and now it's, like, in the 80s, like, no, let authority do that. Let them be the handers out of justice.
Well, I will say that, Murphy's Law is a little bit different, and it's not, it's not just, like, showing some people doing petty crime. There's attempted rape. There's,
well, I was gonna say Charles Bronson's pretty restrained in this film compared to like most of, a lot of his stuff. But the idea is still there, like, because he's a cop who doesn't play by the rules.
Right.
The like cliche number 29 in like film. Mm-hmm. I'm a cop that doesn't play by the rules.
You don't want to fuck with me.
Where's the Law and Order episode of Bronson like, I beat this motherfucker to get the evidence, and then like Sam Waterston being like, all right, well, we can't do this. You broke this law, you broke that law.
Well, you know what, too? Murphy's Law it hits number 54 on the list too. It's like he's a cop with nothing to lose. You're right, because he's going to jail for at least 8 years, and he's going to jail in a place where this film loves to, because it's an 80s movie, it loves to have its way with any references to gay people. Like, there's multiple quote unquote faggots dropped.
Oh my god, the homophobic just like
absolutely.
Homophobia is just bandied about, and it's so cliche.
Absolutely.
Talking about you're gonna go to jail and they fuck cops, or like, oh, you're a dyke. You must be a dyke. Don't worry. When you get to prison, you're not gonna like it, but then you're gonna like it.
Like, contextually, sure. In the 80s, it was a lot more accepted, I guess, because it happens quite a bit in 80s movies that I've seen. But yeah, the homophobia is certainly evident when you're watching this movie, especially towards the beginning, where there are multiple references. There's also references to cuckolding too. So
yeah. Well, which is nowadays is like
oh yeah, big conservative,
big porn genre.
Yeah, that too. Yeah,
but and kink, but. Yeah, no, like, it's just weird because they bandy that about quite a bit in the beginning, like, when they're at the police station, and then, like, it just drops afterwards, which it's like, what the fuck was the point of that,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just had to get that in to be like, yeah, he's macho.
I guess so.
He fought in Korea.
Absolutely.
Which is another constant theme in, like, every Bronson film. He was in Korea. Gotta throw that in there a little bit.
Why not? All right, so let's take a break real quick before we get too far into the movie, and we'll talk about the beer that we have on the show today.
Well, while you set us up for that, I'm going to go grab the second round.
Grab another one. All right. Yeah. Crack one open. Well, the beer that we have on the show today is one that I'm actually not familiar with, even though you could consider it fairly close to our area. I've never heard of this brewery before. I've never seen any beers that they've made. So I decided to check it out because it was an interesting sounding beer, and I thought I'd give it a shot. The brewery in question is Big Ditch Brewing Company from Buffalo, which, as you know, is pretty close to us in upstate New York. I've never heard of them before, but we did, apparently one of our beverage centers did get a shipment from them, so I decided to check it out. And the one that I picked up, and actually the only one that I recall seeing at the store, was their Pineapple Burner American IPA. So it's an IPA with pineapple.
Pineapple?
Pineapple!
Pineapple!
This Pineapple Burner IPA is for people who like pineapple, but they don't want to core and slice it. That's always annoying. You ever cored and sliced a pineapple?
No, I buy cubed already.
I actually haven't either. My wife does it. I don't do it. But it looks really annoying. It's like well, I would say probably the most annoying tropical fruit is pomegranate.
I was about to say it's not
right.
Pineapple.
It's and then maybe pineapple.
That's why you just gotta eat a nice grape and pop the grapes.
Pineapple is at least like you could like fuck it all up. You know, you could just like cut into it wherever and you'd still be able to get some pineapple. Whereas you can really fuck up a pomegranate. Like to the point where it makes it difficult to even eat it. Then you got to deal with all the pith and stuff. Just eat it in the shower. There was actually one time where I was like, you know what? I'm just going to fucking eat the pith too. I'm not even going to deal with de-seeding this thing.
I've never even bothered eating like an actual pomegranate.
You buy the palm cups?
No, I just drink the juice.
You should buy the palm cups if you don't want to deal with the mess. At least it gets you the seeds. Because you know the seeds. The seeds are tasty.
That's what a multivitamin's for, so you don't have to eat that crap.
No, but
eat my burgers and steak.
This Pineapple Burner American IPA, I like it. I think it's different. The pineapple is pretty prominent in the flavor. Actually, to the point where I sometimes get more pineapple than I do IPA. I don't taste a huge hop flavor to it. It's more so you get a sweetness of the pineapple, sometimes tartness. And towards the end, you get a little bit of that malt and hop from American style IPA. I feel like they could have gone a little bit further with the IPA nature of this beer. But otherwise...
You're expecting more of a NIPA.
I was. Yeah. I think the IPA is a lot more nuanced than I was expecting. I thought it was going to be big IPA flavors with that like hint of pineapple. And instead I got the inverse of that. I got big pineapple flavors with a hint of IPA. Now that's actually kind of interesting because that's not what you normally get. And as we talked about with NIPAs, when you get that tropical flavor, a lot of times you're just like, yep, tastes vaguely tropical, right? You like vaguely pineapple, vaguely mango-y, citrusy.
Guava.
You get like all of that vague flavor. And here I definitely taste the pineapple and then the IPA is kind of subtle. But I like it.
I think I like it a little bit more than you. I kind of appreciate the fact that, I mean, I was actually expecting it to, I was kind of surprised, like you, that it's not very IPA. Mm-hmm. It's much more fruit forward. It's almost kind of like popping open a can of Dole pineapple juice and drinking it.
Yep.
Which I like because I love me some pineapple juice. And so I'm really happy that it's actually, you know, one of the main selling points on it is having this pineapple flavor, and it's actually at the forefront. And now that I'm hitting like the bottom of the can, you kind of get a little rindiness to it too.
Mm-hmm. It actually,
I think it works well. I like it a lot. I would like you to see it be more IPA forward, like more of an actual combination instead of very just like juicy forwardness and then slight hoppiness at the end. But overall, I do think this is a very good brew. I like it a lot.
Yeah, it reminds me a bit of the pineapple cart that I had from Golden Road, which was a wheat beer with pineapple. It's similar in composition to that. I think there's a little bit more IPA-ness to it, but like you said, I think it's a good beer. The pineapple flavor is nice. It's kind of surprising that it doesn't go full like NIPA on us. I do wish that there was just maybe a little bit more of a hint of hops. That's all. Maybe just a little bit more.
What hops are even in this?
I'm not sure. I don't think it really says. But I do, I think they could go just a little bit further, like maybe double hopping it.
Ooh, making it double. Ooh.
Yeah. I think it would go a little way. So, and the other distinction is, like I was saying, we've never had Big Ditch at all. So I've never tried like their standard IPA either. So I don't really have that to compare it to.
To be honest with you, I don't think any brewers really make a standard IPA anymore.
Yeah,
it's not really.
It's
not really it's not really a thing. Like, what would you like? I want a standard IPA.
Just another way that liberals are taking away our America, taking away the American IPA.
Ooh, that looks great. I'm at their website, and their little brewery. It looks great. Did you talk about that? I was gonna say, go Bills. Should have went to the Super Bowl. Fuck you, Bengals. But no, we haven't, because you know what? Where's their about page? I don't know. Let's see how new they are, because
doesn't really say.
Yeah, I was hoping it'd say like how old they are, because I don't think. I think they're pretty new.
It looks like it opened in 2014.
So pretty new.
Yeah, fairly new. I've never heard of them. I've never really seen anything around. And I believe, that this was the only beer that was available in the store. So I there was no other option from Big Ditch. But I saw it and I was like, oh, pineapple. Pineapple IPA. Sounds good.
Oh my God, the food at their brew house looks amazing.
Martin hasn't eaten in a while, so everything's gonna look.
Well, that, and it looks really good.
Yeah, no, but
incredibly bourgeois, but it looks great. Because like one of the pictures they have is like this delightful like Druthers-esque burger, but it looks even slightly better with steak fries, and then like a salmon cut with avocado and feta. Like, ooh.
But based on my experience with Pineapple Burner, I would definitely check out more beers from.
We'll have to go out to Buffalo and try it.
Yeah.
And I'll get you a beef on Weck, too.
Mm.
You need a beef on Weck. They do have, looks like they do have, their Hay Burner is their standard IPA. Comes with, wow. Let's see if you know these hops. Warrior. Do you know that?
Warrior hop? No, I don't.
CTZ. Do you know that hop?
No.
Cascade. We know Cascade. Glacier and Falconer's Flight.
Wow.
God damn. They only have 3 signatures, though. It's their rye. Ooh, a rye brown ale. Hot damn. Oh, and a golden ale, and then their Hay Burner. And let's see. I'm trying to find you.
Well, I can say that I would definitely check them out. I would definitely be open to trying another one. If I see it, I'll grab it.
Jesus. Fucking. What hops are these anymore? It's just, oh my God. Oh, what would our Fiden's mule? When I was messaging him, he's telling me about the treehouse they just had, and he sent me a picture of the cup that the pint glass he drank it from, and all the rings of froth that were on it from every sip he took, and the fucking hops he described that were in that beer. I was like, excuse me, I think I know one of the 5.
They're getting creative now.
It's just like some guy's job now to graft like hops, like sit in like a greenhouse and be like, all right, let's take this and this, and we'll make this.
I would say, yeah, probably.
It
probably is.
Well, you know what beer we're doing next week? Bud Light next.
Saw so many commercials for that on the Super Bowl.
Luckily, I was at the bar, so I wasn't really paying attention.
All right, well.
But what about that halftime show?
Didn't watch it.
It's a disgrace.
All right, let's move on to Murphy's Law.
Actually, the entire time I was like, wouldn't it be cool if the Fugees just showed up like halfway through? It's kind of weird amalgamation. You got Snoop and Dre, okay. Then Mary J, okay. And then you had 50 Cent, like, wow, okay. Then Kendrick Lamar, like, whoa. And then Eminem, yeah. Still awesome, though. Still awesome. I mean, wait, no, not in my America. No. Where's my Toby Keith better be there next year. I want 13 minutes of courtesy of the red, white, and blue. Don't you?
I do.
And then Alan Jackson comes out and sings "Where Were You?"
Where were you when the world stopped turning? All right.
I thought it was "Where Were You" when they built that ladder to heaven.
All right, let's talk about Murphy's Law now. We're gonna move on. Let's move on. All right, so Murphy's Law.
You're no fun.
I know. Murphy's Law. Like we said.
Hold on. The film should be called Jack Murphy's Law.
It should be called Jack Daniel's Law.
Old Number 7. This film is brought to you by Jack Daniel's Old Number 7 Tennessee Whiskey.
It almost becomes like a joke, a running joke, like that it's not even trying to do though. That just every single scene, Murphy is pulling out whiskey from like somewhere, just like some random, like in a helicopter, he's got a flask. Just got blown up by like a bomb, he's got a flask.
Waking up from bed.
Yes.
Got a bottle of Old Number 7 next to him.
He'll go find the number 7 in Grandma's china cabinet. It just actually becomes a running theme in the movie that actually it's an unintentional joke that he just pulls out liquor from wherever he is.
Was it Charles Bronson just drinking on set? Or
I
was
don't
it
know.
part of the film?
You do have to kind of take that into consideration because just thinking about the schedules for the Canon film productions and the amount of...
He's probably like, what did I sign up for?
Exactly.
He's on film number 6, and he's like, what have I done?
Right. It's like that. What did my manager rope me into with these contracts?
It's like Lee Van Cleef and Escape from New York.
So, Murphy's Law is like extremely easy to sum up, which makes it...
How dare you?
It makes it a little bit difficult to talk about. So Jack Murphy is a cop. Charles Bronson
in L.A.
He's pursued by the mob. He's just trying to take down mob bosses and stuff. He kind of gets himself into situations. He's losing his wife. His wife. He lost her. His wife's a stripper. And she's
like 40 years younger than him.
And again, in this movie too, it's not extremely open to alternative lifestyles, right? So, it's pretty.
I like in the nice 1980s way, like you're a whore. No,
exactly.
I'm a dancer. You look like a whore to me. It's like, well, Charles. You're 62 years old, all right? And maybe you shouldn't be going to the strip club.
Right, the man's frequenting a strip club anyway. But yeah, no, the film is not does not mince words about his wife. He's like, she was a whore. How many men was it? 1, 2? We both know she was a whore. So he's lost his wife. She's a stripper now, and he's dealing with that fallout. And then,
I was thinking they were going to go the more cliche route of like his wife died in some kind of accident, like
you mean like
and he blames himself for it, like that's why he's drinking. Yeah, but here it's just like, well, she left me, and now she's with some guy, and she's a stripper, and now I stalk her, and I drink Old Number 7 to try to get over it.
Well, the film doesn't really make showcase like, was he drinking before his wife left him? Is that why she left him?
Well, he says he says he was gruff before then. Later on, when he's giving banter with our main female, Arabelle McGee, that like that he's like I got a big mouth.
It's true. I mean, the film doesn't really go into the characteristics of the relationship, besides the fact that she's a whore, and we know that Murphy's drinking.
Not a whore, a whore.
A whore.
He says it like Frank. Frank Reynolds. Whore. That's all this film was missing, was Danny DeVito walking around like, who else slept with my whore wife? Did you sleep with my whore wife? She is such a whore.
So Murphy wouldn't really have a problem. He's a cop. He's taking it out on the criminals, right? The people who deserve it. But there's one person who wants to make sure that Murphy's life's a living hell, and they murder his wife and her lover, and they begin to go on their murder spree of killing various other people that we see. And the film doesn't really keep the identity of its killer in the dark either. It cuts away and we see exactly who the killer is. The motive is not really known until later on in the film, but the actual identity of the killer is not kept a secret. And for those watching the movie, you might be wondering, why do we have one chance encounter at the beginning of the movie with Arabella, which then does not, do anything to the plot until maybe another half hour later? Well, that's because that's our first buddy meeting between Bronson and
I like that you're
Arabella.
banding about buddy cop film like this is fucking Lethal Weapon or K-9 or Turner and Hooch.
Well, it kind of is trying to be, though. That's the thing, though.
This preempts those, though.
Well, that's true. Yeah, it does. But this is definitely a buddy cop type of movie where the film, has a crime drama bent to it. Because Murphy's really serious. Charles Bronson is fairly serious, but at the same time, as Bronson is framed for his murder of his wife, he goes on the run with Arabella, played by Kathleen Wilhoite, and Arabella brings the comedic timing to the film with such witty one-liners as, you scumbucket...
Jism.
Yes, you scumbucket jism, you
booger nose, you
literally...
You sperm bank.
It does feel like somebody just sat down and they just went to a thesaurus and they just looked up two words together as an insult, and then they just strung them together in the script and
sat there and laughed like Dr. Hibbert from fucking The Simpsons. Like, this is gonna be a good one.
I mean,
she does. I think she does a good job. But
I was just gonna say that. Yeah.
The dialogue in this film is atrocious, and they have her. She's supposed to be like the punk kid, and she's like, "Yeah, you cops got 2-inch peckers. You shit brain booger nose. You asshole of an asshole." I think out of all the things she said, the only one that I'm like, "Oh, I know that one's when she's like, there's a pope shit in the woods." It's like, "Oh, I know that one."
The rest of them, they were looking for rare insults to.
Yeah, I mean, she bandies about booger. A little too much for somebody who's supposed to be.
This is the definitive Charles Bronson movie with booger in the dialogue.
I mean, I think this film is the reason why we get Lethal Weapon in a year. He's essentially Danny Glover. Me, I'm getting too old for this shit.
Yeah, basically, this is a movie where Charles Bronson is playing a character who is formidable. He definitely can hold his own, and the film shows that in various scenes. Especially with the whole mob boss Red Herring going after Frank Vincenzo, who he believes to be the person who's framing him for the murder, and it ends up not being that person. But he's throwing him around and very formidable about being a threat. At the same time, though, you kind of get the feeling that Murphy's kind of lagging behind here as Arabella's running him all over the place, ragged. It is a movie, like you said, where he's almost feeling like I'm too old for this shit. I'm not going to run away from this issue. I'm just gonna tackle it head on.
And one thing I do like is how they take like his alcoholism and like and the fact that he's separated with his wife, and they're like, they're busting his balls at the precinct. Like, God, you look shit. Your tie's like all stained with mustard. What'd you do? Fall asleep eating a fucking Hoffman's, you fat slob? And then that's where you played like bam, bam, bam.
Just good old banter between the guys, you know.
Hey, I saw your ex-wife at the strip club. Does her titties taste as good as they look? Bam, bam, bam.
So,
great canon film dialogue right there, by the way. That's something you would expect from them. Like,
it is true. The film has some pretty cringy dialogue. So, let's talk about one of the weirdest scenes in the movie where after Murphy and Arabella have been working together. They're running through all these scenarios. You know, they've been targeted. They're trying to figure out who is behind the framing. They go to another person's house. It was one of Murphy's buddies from the Vietnam War, the Korean War, which you had brought up. You know, that's always a thing that gets brought up in these types of action movies.
Which is weird because when he says the last time he flew a chopper was in '63, Korea's over by then. But I mean,
yeah.
Maybe
he did something else. You know?
But they do mention when you see his old friend that fixes him up. Like he's like, where'd you learn to fix that? He's like, Korea. But I like too. Also, you can tell how old this film is. Also, because he's got a concussion. He's gonna suck for a little while. Now it's like concussions could be deadly.
That means your brain hit your skull.
Yeah. Here he's just like,
not a good thing.
Here he's like, he's just got a concussion.
Yeah, he'll be all right. Shake it
off. How old are you, Jack? 62? You'll be fine. You'll see that pension in no time.
But the weirdest scene is when Arabella and Murphy are, just eating together, and Arabella starts talking about how she's attracted to older men.
Ugh, it's weird and comes out of nowhere.
Where did that come from? Why all of a sudden is she just like, I'm interested to...
Well, also, too, they don't disclose how old she is. Like, she's like, she asks, like, how old are you? And he's like, and she won't answer. And then she asks him how old he is. And he gives the answer that you'd expect. Too damn old.
Too old.
It so, like...
really weird. It's a weird... Because when you're watching this movie... I never got the feeling like, wow, they've got some chemistry.
Like that? No. God, no.
You're like, wow, I'd really like to see them hook up. Like,
not only that, if they did, I'd be appalled. Like, no, stop, please,
don't. That is a thing that they would do with Bronson, though. Like, if you think about Death Wish, too, like every one of his wives, because he had 4 wives. Every Death Wish movie was about, well, they killed that wife, too. Damn it. But every one of his wives was a little too young for him. So that's not not an uncommon practice with Bronson, but here, yeah, it's super weird. Like, cause Arabella really doesn't seem that old, they're even if Kathleen Wilhoite, I don't know how old she was at this time. I think she's probably like, 26, maybe.
Let's find out.
Something like that.
Not even, 22.
22. But so like, it's just a
Bronson's in his 60s.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a weird, scene that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, and it comes out of nowhere. I did not like that.
It's kind of like in the Bond film, A View to a Kill, where Roger Moore's he's almost 60, and who's the main girl? Tanya Roberts. How old is she? Like 22. It's like, God,
I mean, I do have to commend the film in it. Like, it didn't go there. It mentioned it, but it didn't actually go there.
But they did try to add a rape scene, so
that is true.
Commendable. Add a pot farm.
Yep.
Just to add that extra level of seedy degeneracy, like these assholes grow pot, and now they're all horny.
Yeah, that's the thing too. Yeah, it's like in L.A. growing pot. It's like I don't know if they would be the punks that this film made them out to be. It's just like they would probably just be guys that are like, yeah, I grow pot here.
Well, yeah, it's 19.
Please don't bother me.
Again, it's 1986. That's why. So
yeah, they've all got to be leather-bound punks.
Well, they got the leather-bound punks from Friday the 13th Part 3.
Yeah, that's right. But so the film itself, I think, suffers from. I think that everybody's doing a fairly good job. I mean, I think Bronson's doing what he can. I think Kathleen Wilhoite actually does a really good job with her character, despite the cringy dialogue. And, you know, even Richard Romanus as Frank Vincenzo, I think he does a pretty good job, too, as being like, you know, a mob boss that can be thrown around. And, you know, he
We didn't mention his brother.
Tony.
Beautiful mulleted Tony with a leather jacket, which...
That is one of the more surprising sequences in the movie, I thought.
It's great, but it's stupid at the same time. Okay, you're going to get arrested. For what? Nothing that serious. And then he decides to whip out a gun, take a hostage, blow their head off.
Yeah, that is true. Kill a cop, blow the hostage head off. I mean, I found it surprising. I was like, wow, the film really went there. You just, like, killed that hostage in cold blood right away.
And I like, too, like, that after Bronson takes him down, his partner's kind of sitting there shaking his head like, great. Now we got to file the discharge paperwork.
There's paperwork to be done here. Yeah, you're right, though. They're just tracking him down. You know, there's really, like, just a warrant out for his arrest right now. Like, nothing major. Like, just probably good lawyer can get him off on bail.
Probably has several times, but
yeah. You know. I mean, even if you think about, like, Frank Vincenzo being his brother, a mob boss in the city, like, he's probably got judges in his pocket. Like, it's probably no big deal, right? But he's like, you know what? I'm not even messing around.
And then the way Murphy's portrayed at this point, everyone's noticing he's a sloppy drunk and getting ridiculous. Like, wouldn't you be like, all right, like, what? How can you believe this asshole? You know?
Yeah.
He's, you know, obviously got a vendetta.
I did.
But then he just you know goes to breaking out the 44, and you know.
I did find that that part of the film exciting because it was a little unexpected. But yeah, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense when you really think about it. But I think that the problem with Murphy's Law is that it is a super, super generic canon film from the 80s. Like, if you think about crime dramas, this has like every single generic element to it that you can possibly think of. You know, unlikely protagonist, check. Guy who wants revenge, check.
Injustice that was done.
Yep, injustice, check. Vengeful antagonist, check. You know,
saucy side piece.
Yep. Check. Strip clubs. Check. I mean, canon.
God, those scenes were just strewn in there just for the sake of being, like, you know, being lecherous. Like, look, you got titties to look at.
I mean, oh, and also, too, the film has a really big problem with presenting things that happen, and the viewer has no idea why we've seen them. Like, right at the beginning of the movie, like I talked about, Bronson and Kathleen Wilhoite being together, you know, Arabella stealing his car. That doesn't come up again for like half an hour.
Did you like the fact that he threw his groceries at her as, like, the car's being jacked? Like, now you got no car and no food, ass.
Yeah, that's true. But, so that scene, you know, doesn't really come up again till like 30 minutes later. The scene with Joan Freeman, the antagonist, and the private investigator. You're like, who the fuck is this chick? Why doesn't she ever come up again for like another 45 minutes?
I kind of like the fact I do like her as an antagonist because it's cool. You know, like that's actually not like just some big beefy dude, like per usual.
Yeah, yep.
But I almost feel like the same route though. They're kind of the whole reason she's kind of here is try to be like Grace Jones' Mayday.
Mm-hmm.
And A View to a Kill, because again, be a year after that came out, it's like we need a big, strong woman to be a antagonist.
Yeah, and I don't mind the female antagonist. I think that's a really good idea. The problem with Joan Freeman is that there is just no interesting motive. If the film had gone all out and it was like, you know, there's this whole big thing about why Murphy's targeted and you know, it's not just something simple, then that would be different. Like if we got a whole explanation at the end of the movie, you know, it'd be an exposition drop, but at least it would be something. what we actually get is really boring. It's just like Joan Freeman was put away by Murphy, his partner, and a judge. And now Joan Freeman is out to kill those people as she got out of jail, and she's mad. And that is the motive. It's really not
simple.
Yeah. It has no actual like weight to it. And so like if you've been watching all of Murphy's Law, you're like, there's got to be something going on here, like something interesting.
She's Bronson's long lost lover or something.
Yeah, right. And it's not. It's the whole thing boils down to a motive that's just like, I went to prison because of you, and I'm crazy, and I want to kill you. And the weird thing about it too is that like she makes Murphy like the center of her plot, you know, because she's already killed the judge, she's already killed Murphy's partner. It doesn't even make sense. Like, why is Murphy the center of this? Like he was just part of the process of sending you to jail, but the motive itself, like the idea of it, just doesn't have weight to it.
Two things. Speaking of her and her deeds, one. What'd you think of her fucking tickling and then, air quote, drowning the judge in a bathtub?
I love it. I think that's awesome.
How do you drown someone by just holding their fucking feet?
Yeah, I thought about that too. I was thinking like, you know, like just you must have really poor upper body strength.
Just so fucking stupid. Like, you know, like,
now
and then
the coup de grace of dropping the lamp in. That's nice. I like that.
No, because it makes it look like, you know.
What kind of? Also, we got to talk about where were they? What kind of hospital bathtub is that? It's like
I don't think it's like a hospital bathtub. I think it's like a Turkish bathhouse.
Yeah, it's a weird. It's like a weird bathtub.
I don't know if they had that in L.A., but that's what it kind of seemed like. It's like got to be like some kind of like just random bathhouse.
But I have to take the judge's side here. If someone was willing to just like give me a bath like that, you know, like they're gonna, you know, literally do the whole 9 yards. They're gonna soap me. They're gonna
rub my balls.
No, not even that. Not even the sexuality of it, but just the. Like, they're going to, like, draw the water, get it nice and warm, give me a nice massage. Like, all right, I'd probably believe them, too.
What do you think about his meal? Quail breast with stuffed dates and...
I'd be like... So, yeah, because the waiter comes around and he's like, the chef recommends... I'd be like, the chef fucking sucks.
Listen, I would say, you had me at quail. Quail is probably delightful. Don't stuff it with your fucking nasty dried fruits and hazelnuts and shit.
I couldn't dine in a restaurant like that because the chef would come around and I'd say, you have crap ideas. Get me a pulled pork sandwich. Coleslaw on it, please.
Read my mind. That sounds absolutely great right now. But no, that's what I was thinking the entire time. Like, ooh, quail breast sounds great. It's probably like a lot like duck, and duck is great too. That's like stuffed with dates and a raspberry cranberry sauce and like dried hazelnuts. It's like stop, okay? You took it and then you fucked it. All right,
you trashed it. See, I'm not really a poultry person, so the quail itself would be like, no, I don't.
I imagine it's more dark meaty, like so. It's more like you know, like a duck. Or,
it's probably
so. It's probably like I said. It's probably good. I know you don't like turkey, which makes you wrong, but
yeah.
But I mean that bothered me. And how did you like the Black Christmas nod?
I don't know that I caught it.
You didn't catch it. Wow. Okay. Well, the Attorney General that got the prosecutor in Malibu that got killed. He got strangled with a bag over his head, and then he was found in a chair.
Oh yeah, that is nice. Yeah, I didn't really think of it, I guess, at the time as a Black Christmas nod, but yeah.
Well, you should have, because this film could have used John Saxon.
It could have used John Saxon. That's right. I think he would have been a good addition to the police force that we get. I do like the whole. I think it's James Louisi who plays the primary antagonist on the police force, who is like just assured, like, nope, Murphy did it. You know, Murphy's like, I what if someone framed me? He's like, yeah, I don't believe it. at all.
Well, not like that. I mean, but it is kind of ridiculous. So they did like showing how they got him like kind of like framed. They did a damn good job. Okay, he was at the strip club. Okay, and then the car's at the scene, and then the guy who's driving his car after he got knocked him out, and Murphy's sitting in the car, pulls his gun out and uses it to kill his ex-wife and her lover. With the, it's pretty good. So I mean, like, I just like the fact that Bronson's just like, did it ever occur to you that I was framed? And it's like, bud. What do you mean, framed? I mean, the only thing he could kind of point to is I would say, like, I woke up and I was in the passenger seat. If I did all this, why am I in the passenger seat?
I don't know the time frame when this would have been, developed, but gunpowder residue is the only other thing I could think of. But yeah, you're right. That the framing itself was pretty well done.
They actually took the time to show the steps of it, which was, nice.
Yeah, it was well done. The only other thing I can think of is the gunpowder residue, but I'm not sure when that actually became like a thing to test. But yeah, they did a good job of that.
But I mean, no one in the department really likes him except the one guy, because again, he's a belligerent drunk, essentially,
right.
Showing up, them making fun of it, like his disheveledness, like. Yeah, we know. When you wake up, you go right for old number 7. They should have made it more realistic, not like have him drinking Jack, but something nice and cheap, like a nice bottle of Black Velvet. Here's your Canadian whiskey, Mr. Bronson. Oh, thanks.
What did you think about the ending that's set in the Bradbury building, which has also been used for movies like Blade Runner?
Very L.A. Noire-esque.
It's a very cool venue to have the conclusion, I think. Lots of staircases, lots of Charles Bronson panting up flights of stairs.
The poor man, they put him through his paces in this film. He is running around more than he should. And the way he walks down the steps, too, he's like skipping every 2 steps. It's like, Charles, you're going to blow a knee out. Stop it. Like, you don't have to. But it is kind of sad. Like, I think he does a pretty good job for, his age. But at the same time, like, watching him kind of, go through the fucking Ninja Olympics it is sad, because it's like, oh, they got him fucking running back and forth in this. It's just why you gotta do that to him?
Poor guy. Probably lost 20 pounds.
But it was good. A little too long.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me.
Right, because we don't just get like the final meetup between Joan and Murphy. We get, oh wait, in between that, here's the mob boss Vincenzo coming in with his goons. We'll deal with that first. And like, I feel like if you were Joan Freeman, you're like, what the fuck? What is going on right now? This is supposed to be my time to get my vengeance. Like, these fucking goons are coming in. I do like too. There's like a really intense scene where Murphy's on the stairwell. Joan is up above him with her crossbow, and the gun is on the stairs in open view. And Murphy's like, you know what? I'm going to reach for it. I'm going to try to get that gun. And Joan fires a crossbow bolt, and Murphy jumps back like he should, right? But then there's this time frame where you're like, oh, Joan's gonna have to reload, right? Like you can't you don't have a crossbow bolt just at the ready sitting in the you can't just fire multiple crossbow bolts at a time. But Murphy just sits there like, wow, what the fuck just happened? And then Joan reloads, and then he tries again. That struck me as super unrealistic. Like, why would you just wait for someone to reload a crossbow? Then she shoots the gun off, so he's fucked over there. So I thought that was a little ridiculous, honestly. Shouldn't have waited for the reload. But other than that, I mean, I think the conclusion has a cool setting. Again, though, I think the motive plays a big role in the issues with the conclusion because, like, there's just no real motive. And so there's not like there's not like a face off. It's almost like Murphy's like, yeah, I know you, but like, I don't really care. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, yeah, I sent you to prison.
It's like The Fugitive. Like, I'm in this. It's like, I don't care. He's essentially like Tommy Lee Jones. Just like, I don't care. Just don't care about anything.
Yeah, I just wish that the film had a little bit more motive to its antagonist. And then I think that the conclusion would have even more impact because I don't really think it does. And it kind of, I don't know, it peters off. It doesn't really have much to. I will say, though, that the elevator coming down on Arabella, I think that's an exciting moment.
It's okay.
You thought it was all right?
I mean, it's like cliched and like, like just like, oh, is it gonna be bad? Is it gonna be bad? Is it gonna be bad? No.
Because you weren't convinced like anything's gonna happen.
No, but I did like the fact that she got shot with the fucking crossbow right after. That's like, like, yeah, all right, she's dead. Mm-hmm. She's not dead.
Yeah, I mean, I think the conclusion was fine, but
how'd you like they're getting loaded up into an ambulance and they're mouthing off to one another?
I mean, it makes sense with the character. I think it just is meant to show like, oh, this relationship's not gonna just end here. They're gonna have a buddy relationship for forever.
I will say too that this film, I mean, maybe it inspired. I don't know. I've seen a variety of like 80s, like cop films like this, but this feels like the first one in line in my memory that has like that like saxophone bluesy sound. So I'm almost gonna say this film inspired Lethal Weapon soundtrack because it's got like kind of almost a Clapton-esque like bam 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 bam. And then like random saxophone.
Mm-hmm.
And that was great at the end, hearing like as they're getting carted off, like beep beep bam, they're gonna have more adventures. Wait for Murphy's Law 2.
I mean, it also has Kathleen Wilhoite's.
Law!
Yeah, it has Kathleen Wilhoite's vocals. She does the theme song.
Murphy's Law.
Yeah, because primarily she was a singer-songwriter.
Something Murphy's Law.
I do like that they made up lyrics to this song, but it's not really like
serious.
Yeah. It's almost like just a really goofy theme song. But yeah, I didn't realize Kathleen Wilhoite did lots of songs, including the song for Roadhouse and song for this movie, and primarily a singer-songwriter.
Should have had Charles Bronson singing it.
That's right.
Well, so how do you like that when they explain Murphy's Law? You get Bronson's reaction to what Murphy's Law is.
I mean, I think that is where the idea for the film came from. Honestly, when I was talking about like the production of it, someone thinking about the script and they were just like, yeah, I have a great line for Murphy's Law. We just need to make a movie around it. I think that's ultimately where this movie came from. Murphy's Law is don't fuck with Murphy.
No, that's Jack Murphy's Law. Don't fuck with Murphy.
I mean,
I like how they make that distinction, so like there's Murphy's Law and there's Jack Murphy's Law.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is where ultimately the idea for the film came from, and they wrote a film around that line.
Doesn't come off as What do you think overall Bronson's performance in this film?
I mean, it's fine. I think that I don't think that he's putting in a lot of effort here. I think he's putting in like really like just a medium amount of effort.
He's got some good bits, like some of the lines he gives, he gives good, but like the times when he's trying to be like serious and this is like very like, oh come on, Charles, you can do better than that.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely seems like he's just going through the motions here.
I got alimony I gotta pay. I'm just doing this for a friend.
So, on a scale of 1 to 10,
are you gonna fucking on cinema the fuck out of this
no, not
again?
this time, no. But on a scale of 1 to 10 butt crusts,
I'm glad. I'm literally glad you're not gonna on cinema this because Tim Heidecker sent us a cease and desist.
No, but on a scale of 1 to 10 butt crusts.
I wish I kept the one thing I regret about this is when I was watching it, not keeping track of all the witty repartee that was thrown throughout this film, because like she has a gigantic like just line of banter that's just fucking terrible. That to no fault of her own because of a poor script writing, but
that's
it's
right.
just like it's just like, oh, you were supposed to be on the Return of the Living Dead set, weren't you? And I you know what? I'll give this film a 7. It's mediocre, but in all the right ways at some points. It's definitely not going to be the most noteworthy Bronson film, or his most probably well looked at. But I think when he tries, he does a very good job. When he doesn't try, it's not bad, but it's just kind of like you can tell he's bored. Overall, as you said, with our main female lead, Catherine, I'm not even going to try to pronounce the last name. I'll butcher it. Kathleen Wilhoite. See, that's why I did. Her dialogue, for the most, like 90% of it is garbage. But she is very entertaining and very energetic and does a very good job. There are some good ideas in this film, even though it's as stereotypical as one can get when it comes to like a, cop, revenge cop film. There are ideas here. And it's just overall a pretty fun watch with some, nice things going on in it. An hour 40 is a little too long. Probably could shave 15 minutes off this film because there's some points in this film where it seems like they're just kind of there. But overall, I'd say it's a fun enough film, and I'd say watch it. It's not going to hurt you. If you like very stereotypical cop films, then you'll like this. And it's not the most actiony, that's for damn sure. One of the reviews I saw on Wikipedia from Variety said it's a very violent urban crime thriller. It's not that violent at all, to be honest with you. It's actually really mild. The fact that they kind of just show some gore every now and then, I guess, makes it violent, but it's not very violent at all. It's actually pretty tame. The body count's really low. But I think overall, a 7. 7 right now would do.
Yeah, I was going to give it a 7 as well. I think it's entertaining. It's a good movie to watch if you like Bronson, if you like crime dramas from the 80s, especially if you like canon movies. But like most of the canon movies of the time, it's really generic. I think that, you could watch any movie from this time period, and it would be very similar to Murphy's Law, especially, with the same antagonist that's looking to, get revenge on a cop film. This is a very generic portrayal of that. I don't really think it's to any of the actors' faults. Bronson does an okay job. He's not really into it, you can tell, but he does a fairly good job. Kathleen Wilhoite, I think she does a really good job with her character, despite the dialogue. I thought she was really good in Roadhouse too. But I think that ultimately the script is really just not that interesting. The motives for the killer are not interesting at all. it needed to be fleshed out a little bit more with some actual gravitas to it, and you would have had a better movie. But I think Murphy's Law is entertaining enough to, put up with an hour and 40 minutes of mediocre plot. So 7 out of 10. All right. So we had discussed in last week's episode for next week that we were going to do another episode because we're going to do week, boom, boom, boom. We're going to do 3 in a row. So for next week's episode, what were we doing? We were
The Spook Who Sat by the Door.
That's right. We're doing a Blaxploitation movie, Spook Who Sat by the Door, for February. So looking forward to that one. I haven't watched that one.
I feel like you're letting me say that so you don't get criticized for using a racial epithet.
No. I honestly, I could not remember what we had decided, so I was blanking out. So I'm glad you were able to come to the rescue there. So we're doing The Spook Who Sat by the Door. So you'll definitely want to tune in for that. We've done a few Blaxploitation movies in the past, but definitely this one should be a fun one to do.
To be honest with you, I can't even remember what we've done.
We have done Black Caesar.
Did we do Black Caesar?
Yep.
I think that's the only one we've done, bud.
And we've done another Pam Grier movie, didn't we?
We did not do Coffee.
No, we didn't do Coffee. No, did we do like Freaky Friday? Freaky Friday. Foster Brown?
No, we did not.
Foster Friday. What? Getting them confused here now.
No, we did not do it.
So maybe Black Caesar is the only one that we've actually done.
I don't even think we did Black Caesar.
I feel like we did. Maybe not.
I think we just watched it.
Maybe we just watched it. Maybe we haven't done.
No, we didn't. No, episode 72.
I thought so. I thought we did Black
June
Caesar.
2017. Black Caesar. That's the only Blaxploitation we've done so far.
Gotcha.
Because I remember when we were watching Coffee. That was before the podcast.
Yep, that was before podcast. Yeah. Cool. So we'll do The Spook Who Sat by the Door. So you'll definitely want to tune in for our Blaxploitation episode. Until then.
Tell us to do more.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You can catch us on pretty much any podcasting app that you can think of. You can listen to our previous old episodes. We're on, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, our home base at anchor.fm. Any of those will work. You can subscribe to us, leave us a nice review. We are on Facebook and Twitter. Just search for us on there, Blood of Black Rum Podcast. We're also, we have an email address, bloodandblackrumpodcast@gmail.com, where you can write to us. Let us know what you like, what you don't like, what you want us to cover. We'll take that into consideration. And you can donate to us on our Patreon page at patreon.com/bloodandblackrumpodcast. That helps us buy beer, so we definitely appreciate whatever you can give our way. So hopefully we have you tune in. Hopefully you enjoyed our episode on Murphy's Law. And we'll see you back next week.
Take care.